ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शांति 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 Namaskar my dear friends, this is the video in the series of Upanishadic stories. The topic of this story is Para and Apara Vidya. In Hinduism, there are two types of Vidyas. One is Para, that is about Atma, Brahma, and all spiritual aspects. Apara Vidya, the Vidya concerning with the materialistic and worldly affairs. So this is a very good video to understand what is Paravidya and Aparavidya. I start the video. There are two categories of knowledge declares the Rishi of Mundaka Upanishad. Knowledge of this world and knowledge of the other world. Material knowledge, Aparavidya, and spiritual knowledge, Paravidya. The same thing has been again taken up in the Chandogya by Narada and Sanatkumara. In fact, both ought to be acquired and both are equally important. Nor are they mutually exclusive. One is incomplete without the other. This has been very strongly emphasized by the Isa Upanishad. The higher para and the lower apara knowledge or the knowledge of the spirit and the knowledge of matter both ought to be acquired, so say those who know Brahma, declared the sage Angirasa to Saunaka when the latter approached him as a disciple. All the Vedas, grammar, philosophy, astronomy, astrology, and all such knowledge falls in the category of apara or lower learning. That knowledge by which Brahma is known, that by which the unseen and the unknown, the one eternal, all pervasive being is known, is the para or higher learning. Narada once approached the sage Sanatkumara and requested him to show him the path of knowledge. Sanatkumara said, "Let me first know what you have already learned. I shall teach you something further than that." Narada then said, "Sir, I have learnt the Rigveda, the Yajurveda, the Samaveda, the Atharvaveda, history and traditional stories which are together called the fifth Veda, the method of remembering and repeating the Vedas, the technique of Shraddha ceremony, grammar, philology, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, science of augury, jugglery, logic, ethics, information about different gods who represent different forces or powers, science of animals, science of war, and so on. But, sir, I feel I merely know the mantras or potent words, but I do not know the Atma or the soul or the spirit of things. I have heard from men like you that he who knows the Atma goes beyond all sorrow. Sir, I am full of sorrow and grief and remorse. I hope and believe that you'll be able to lead me out of all these by favoring me with real knowledge. Dear Narada, all that you have known is but mere name and verbiage, mere words. You can, by your present knowledge, achieve only what words can achieve and nothing more. What is greater than name and words? Please teach me that, said Narada. Yes, the power of speech is greater than words. If there had been no power of speech, there would have been no words, no Vedas, no truth or untruth, no religion or irreligion, no good or bad. Is there anything still greater than the power of speech? Queried Narada. Certainly, mind is greater. It is the mind that is conscious of both the word and the power of speech. When a man thinks that he should learn the mantras, he learns them, otherwise not. When he thinks he ought to do a thing, he does it, not otherwise. Is there anything greater than the mind? Why not? The will is greater than the mind. If there is no will, nothing happens. It is the will that holds all things together. What is greater than the will? Consciousness is greater than the will. It is consciousness that begets activity. Then there is the will that impels the mind to think. Speech follows and words take shape. If a man's consciousness is scattered, he is not alert and he cannot do things. Dear sir, is there anything that is greater than consciousness? Of course there is. Meditation is greater than mere consciousness. Even the earth and the sky and the mountains are as it were meditating and therefore standing firm and steady. If there were no meditation, nothing would stand firm and steady. Please tell me if there is something which is greater than meditation. Yes, the power of understanding is greater than meditation. Good and bad, truth and untruth, the Vedas and Puranas, this world and the next, all these can be known only if there is the power of understanding. Is there anything still greater than understanding? Yes, dear friend, power is greater than mere understanding. A single powerful man inspires fear into 100 men with brains and understanding. When a man with physical power gets up and goes about, when he becomes learned, when he becomes a seer, a thinker, a doer of things, becomes a man of understanding, he is greater than all. It is power that supports the earth, the sky, the mountains, beasts, and man and gods, and everything that exists on earth or in heaven. Is there anything that is greater than physical power? Yes, food is greater. If a man does not eat for 10 days, he may die, or even if he lives, he may lose his powers of speech, of action, of hearing, and of thinking. When he begins to take food, his powers return to him. Is there anything greater than food? Yes, water is greater. If there are no rains, no food grows. For want of water, all living beings would fade away. When there are rains, all animals are quite happy. What is greater than water? Heat or light is greater. If there were no heat, the water from the earth would not evaporate and there would be no rain without evaporation. What is greater than heat? The ether or akasa is greater. It is in ether that all things happen. The sun and the moon and the words float about in ether. Ether is the cause of sound waves which make hearing possible. What is greater than ether? Well, there is the Atma, the spirit, that is the substratum of everything else. Man is always impelled to do things on account of the joy or the pleasure that he gets out of the things that he does. No one acts or does anything unless motivated by some kind of pleasure or joy. And joy consists in abundance, not in want. It is infinity and not limitation that can give joy. That infinity can be realized only by living a unitary life and not by living a life impeded by a sense of separation or isolation or limitation. When a man sees not anything but one, hears not and knows anything but the one Atma, he is experiencing infinity. When a man sees, knows things other than the Atma, it is misery and sorrow that follows. The abundant and the infinite are immortal, while things limited are mortal. The spirit lives by its own power and exists by its own sport and greatness. Those who have realized the spirit are greater, great on account of self-possession and not on account of the possession of houses and cows and servants and lands. The spirit pervades the four quarters. It is up above as well as below. It is called the Atma. He who knows this Atma is absorbed in it. He sports with it. He enjoys its company as that of a mate. He is full of joy. He is his own monarch and fully self-possessed and self-controlled. This realization of the Spirit can dawn upon us when our mind is clean and pure. Our minds would be clean and pure when we feed upon pure food. A clean and pure mind alone can concentrate upon truth. Truth then will shine in the heart of hearts like the rising sun. That is Paravidya or spiritual realization which bestows immortality and eternal bliss. So here ends this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar my dear friends. In the series next video will be on the Upanishadic topic, the bold beggar.